The U.S. national debt keeps going up and is now more than $38 trillion. India is about to make it possible for 10 times as much silver as gold to be used as collateral in banks. This is very important. And finally, JP Morgan has raised their long-term prediction for the price of gold by 80%. How high could gold get? Let's start. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. First, I'll talk about the U.S. debt clock. It has never been over $38 trillion before, and now it seems like this is a big deal. Peter Schiff wrote this yesterday, when it happened. The U.S. owed more than $38 trillion in debt. In February 2022, it broke through the 30 trillion mark. Next year, it will go over 40 trillion. That's why gold broke $4,000 and is going to go much higher. This is also the reason why the dollar will no longer be the world's main currency. This was put on X by Make Gold Great. There are now $38 trillion in U.S. debt. Gold price, $145,000 an ounce, to pay it off with the U.S.'s 8.1K tons of gold. Yes, gold would have to go up a lot more if it were to be used alone to pay off the debt. How is India turning silver back into money? And what does this really mean? From April 2026 on, silver will reportedly be able to be used as protection for loans from banks and non-banks. The silver-to-gold ratio will be 10-1. Indian families have used gold jewelry as collateral for personal and business loans for many years, especially in rural places where credit is hard to come by. The new rules let people offer up to 10 kilograms of silver or 1 kilogram of gold as collateral for loans of up to about $3,000. This includes silver jewelry and ornaments. Here's the first step toward making silver valuable again, and I think it's about time. But why did JP Morgan raise their long-term prediction for the price of gold? How high does it go? The experts said that gold prices usually went up by about 90% during previous changes in reserve currencies, such as in the 1930s and 1970s. Their analysts also found that gold prices could reach $6,000 by 2029 if non-U.S. buyers put just 0.5% of their U.S. assets into gold, which would be about $70 billion a year. The study also said that the implied price as a store of value during a time of unprecedented U.S. debt growth points to a scenario in which gold prices go above $9,000 an ounce. In a recent interview, Robert Gottlieb, who used to work at JP Morgan, said something very interesting about gold. What you need to do is find out who owns gold and how much they have. The first are the state banks, and 18% of everything that has been made since the beginning of time is held by central banks. And they have a lot of money and buy a lot of things. I mean, I've worked with central banks for decades, and not a single one of them has ever said, "I'm buying or selling today because of the price." They make rules about whether I should buy or sell. After that, they follow that rule. You can look at a poll that the World Gold Council just put out on central banks. They said, "I'm going to keep buying gold for the next 5 years." 75% of the central banks agreed.
They were also asked what they thought would happen to the gold reserves of central banks around the world in the next 12 months. They said they would go up 95% of the time. Without a doubt, I believe that central banks are buying a lot more gold and will not stop anytime soon. Also, I want to remind you that the next Fed meeting is coming up on October 29th. The CME Group is still calling for a 25 basis point rate cut and another one in December. Since rates are still going down, this is good news for both gold and silver. As of 2025, the price of gold has been over $4,000 an ounce, which is a high, and the price of silver has been over $50 an ounce. This has been good for the gold mining industry. This American company is traded on the New York Stock Exchange and has shares owned by Van Eck, Ruffer, Goldman Sachs, and Sprott.
Today's movie is paid for by Gold Mining Incorporated. What you're about to see is unique because Gold Mining Inc. is a gold exploration company with more than 10 projects in the works. It also owns big shares in publicly traded gold companies, which gives it access to more gold price drivers and leverage at the same time. As of October 21st, 2025, Gold Mining Inc.'s market value was about $295 million. However, its equity assets, which include cash, are worth about $214 million on their own, based on the prices at which they closed on October 21st and the amount of cash they had on August 31st, 2025. But that doesn't take into account the value of its exploration stage gold projects across the Americas or the value and flexibility of its uranium project in Canada's Athabasca Basin, which is one of the world's highest grade areas. The business also doesn't owe any money. Gold Mining Inc. owns shares in these 4 companies. So far in 2025, 2 of them have almost tripled in value. The company also owns one of the biggest portfolios of gold and gold-copper resource stage minerals in the Americas.
There are more than 10 projects in Canada, the USA, Brazil, Colombia, and Peru, all of which are in mining-friendly countries. Together, they contain more than 12.4 million ounces of gold equivalent in the measured and indicated categories, as well as 9.1 million ounces of gold equivalent in the inferred categories. The San Jorge project in Brazil is one of the best parts. Beginning in May 2025, the company began its biggest research program ever.
This project has an open-pit resource of about 1 gram per ton and has room for growth in the region. It is on a 46,000-hectare, about 115,000-acre piece of land. It's important to aim for resource growth because replacing reserves is hard for the whole business because big producers use up reserves quickly. Large-scale gold and gold-copper projects in mining-friendly countries are becoming harder to find and are part of the gold mining portfolio. These are projects that are located in safe areas, have good infrastructure, and are run by a team of people who know how to build value over time. Gold mining is run by mining veterans like David Garofalo, who used to be CEO of Goldcorp, and Amir Adnani, who is a repeat entrepreneur and co-chairman. Insiders own more than 10 million shares, which shows that they are very much in line with owners. Check out Gold Mining Inc. if you want to invest in gold through a company that is affected by the price of gold, has a list of growth projects in the works, and has interesting institutional and insider support. There are a lot of things going on right now. The US national debt is still going up. India is starting to use silver again for money for the first time in decades. The Fed is meeting soon where rates could go down even further. And one of the biggest banks is raising their long-term gold price predictions. But I want to know what you think will happen next with gold and silver. Fill out the form below and let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next movie.